Today I am making mango chutney. I started by peeling the star of the show, the mangoes. I then cut the mangoes to a size I thought would be tasty in a bite. The recipe called for 2 large mangoes, or a weight measurement of 900 grams. The recipe then calls for 1 large apple. My apples were on the small side, so I went ahead and opted for 2. I started by peeling, coring, and then I coarsely chopped the apples into really small bits. I want to make sure that the flavor of the apples is infused within the recipe, but the star of the show remained the bite-sized mango bits. Next, the recipe asks for 1 finely chopped onion. My onion was huge, and I did not want to overpower the mango, so I opted to use only half. Finally, I peeled and grated about 2 inches of ginger. So it's time to pull it all together. I added 1 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar with 1 cup of sugar. Fun fact, did you know chutneys are made without any additional pectin? It's a combination of vinegar and sugar that act as the preserving agent, heating over low heat until the sugar is dissolved. I then added the mangoes, apples, onions, ginger, and a ½ teaspoon of cumin. I increased the heat to bring it to a boil. This did take a few minutes, but once to a boil, I reduced the heat and let it simmer for 45 minutes. 45 minutes later, I started to ladle the chutney into 3 pint-sized jars. So I can ensure I got similar distribution of fruit in each jar, I started off with the solids. Unfortunately, I was unable to get 3 full jars with a 1/4 inch headspace. So ultimately, I had to redistribute one of the jars just into the other 2. Honestly, I didn't mind this because it let me taste the leftover chutney. And let me tell you, the recipe says, let the flavors mature for a month. It was tasty day 1. I can't even imagine the flavor punch the additional month will make. As always, wipe the rim to ensure no sticky residue is left, potentially causing a faulty seal. Then add the 2-part lid and tighten finger tight and not any further. During processing, air is forced out of the jar. If the screw band is too tight and air cannot escape, your lids may not seal properly. The recipe calls for 10 minutes in a water bath canner. I am using my steam canner instead. I prefer steam canning as it uses much less water than a water bath canner. And frankly, it's not as stressful placing the jars directly on the steam plate and not into an intensely boiling pot of water. This mango chutney from Preserve It Cookbook is a keeper for our pantry. As Mark Twain always said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started.